Hello, and welcome into my short review on One Night Only, directed by Will Gluck, starring Callum Turner and Monica Barbero. If you go out and see this movie tonight, would you be in for a good time, or would this be a total turnoff? And to kick it off, the positives. Since this is a romantic comedy, it's obviously important to have likable leads. So I think it's only appropriate to start off by saying Callum Turner and Monica Barbero were great in this movie. Their chemistry was very impressive. Every single time they're on screen together, you just feel like smiling. They are really what make this movie work, and honestly, it's not that hot of a take to say that Callum Turner might be the best thing to happen to romantic comedies this decade. Just as a side note, Eternity is a really good movie that stars him, and I would recommend going to see it as soon as possible. The second most important thing that I feel really made this movie work were its strong comedic beats. There were multiple times in this movie where I did laugh, and although I think a few jokes definitely overstayed their welcome and were maybe repeated a couple too many times, I think there were quite a few jokes that were made that really could have only been done with this movie and its creative concept. And last but not least, this movie was impressively tasteful for its content and plot. And even though this movie is unrealistic in just about every way possible, I think that anybody who stuck with it would be very happy with the way it ends. And now, unfortunately, we have to get into the negatives. The most important negative thing that I noticed about this movie was its repetitive moments. It seemed like all the characters besides the two leads felt very two-dimensional and like they served the same shtick. You know what direction the movie is going the whole time, so you know each of these characters, these love interests aren't going to work. But to make that happen, it feels like the movie just, every single time one of these people is introduced, they are, at first, they feel like the right person, they feel like a great fit, and then all of a sudden it just shifts them into being an awful person, or the most dramatic, unrealistic circumstance happens that keeps them from being the right fit. And this happens for both of the leads in about every single scene that they're in away from each other. I feel like more fleshed out side characters and a more centralized plot really would have made this movie a lot stronger for me. Next, I hate to be that guy, but the realism of this movie just really threw me off, or the lack thereof. In nature, this movie is almost apocalyptic, but I feel like the story and the script really struggle at showing just how big of a world change that this concept would be. There's just very little world building involved with this movie. I mean, the whole plot of this movie is that all these people that you see haven't had sex for a year or more, and this has apparently been going on for 3 straight years. But really, it feels like this law or mandate was just introduced and that these characters are only now experiencing this for the first time. I feel like if they focused more on the idea of the mandate and the world building around that and the consequences of that, and less on these zany characters that really don't matter all too much in the long run, I think that this plot could have been super interesting and they could have done a lot with it. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed One Night Only, and I'll reflect that in my score by giving it a 6.5 out of 10. If you enjoyed this short review of One Night Only by Will Gluck, and you'd like to see more of this format in the future, go ahead and leave a like down below and have a conversation with me in the comments. I'll earn your subscription later. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next video.